New Falling in Verse album, Popular Monster. Let's do it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the CD guy, Johnny. Whatever, man. You guys know who I am by now. Uh, there are over 1,000 hours of music behind me with those CDs, and this is what I had to listen to this morning. So excuse me if I'm a little cranky. But New Falling in Reverse studio album Popular Monster is out today, August 16th, 2024. My expectations were low for this album, but oh my god, I didn't expect it to be this bad. I generally like it when bands experiment with different sounds and broaden their horizons with, new styles in the studio, but this album just feels like Ronnie Radke trying and failing over and over again to show his range with a multitude of different genres being represented here on this album. It all is just completely all over the place. The album has no identity, and it reeks of just trying to be edgy but commercial at the same time, kind of in a way that would make Machine Gun Kelly blush. And it's seriously sad that this is the rock scene in 2024, and these are the albums that get nominated for Grammys, and it's just so sad. Alright, let's rip this thing apart here. There were several times listening to this thing where I laughed out loud audibly for several minutes from the poor lyricism, the bad vocals, the bad instrumentation. So much wrong here, and so with that in mind, let's dive in to this dumpster fire. Usually when I review a new album, I give my top 5 favorite songs from the new record, but I just can't do that here. So instead, I'm going to give you the worst of highlights, okay? I listened to this album, so you don't have to. I got you covered here. So we kick things off with Prequel, an absolute embarrassment of a track here on every level. The 40-year-old edgelord still writes lyrics like he's 13 years old, once again retaining his championship as the worst lyricist in all of metalcore. The track All My Life features a strange collaboration with Jelly Roll, which is just doomed from the start, in my opinion. This is a metal country collab that, for me, just does not work. I reviewed it in its entirety on the channel. I can leave it linked down below, but if you're a Falling in Reverse fan, you probably hate me already and aren't going to watch it. But let's keep on moving. Ronald is some of Ronnie's worst rapping on the album. I know he's trying to push the boundaries of how far he can move that Falling in Reverse sound, how far he can push it, but sometimes it just doesn't work, and this track featuring Tech 9 is an example of that here. Ronnie just really can't seem to help himself with this rap stuff, and it's not a good track. Speaking of not a good track, Voices in My Head is a repetitive piece of garbage, and then halfway through, Ronnie Radke gets really deep and menacing, and it's just one of the worst tempo changes on the record. The riff to Zombified is a complete ripoff of One Step Closer by Linkin Park. I'm sure Chester Bennington is spinning in his grave over this. This song has been out for a while. I never took to it, probably never will. And then, as if this wasn't already, an absolute mockery of metalcore, an absolute mockery of the fans' intelligence, and my 37 minutes that I will never get back, Ronnie Radke decides to close the album with a reimagined version, because he's such a virtuoso, he's going to reimagine it. A reimagined version of Last Resort by Papa Roach, and, what a terrible cover. I mean, there's a lot I could say, but let me just put it at this. This is emo Spinal Tap, and it's one of the worst things I've ever heard. All in all, this album gets, I don't know, can I even go into negative numbers? I'll be fair. This album gets 1 out of 10 stars from me. I've never given an album rating that low before, but quite honestly, this album deserves it. An absolute car wreck from beginning to end, which, much like Ronnie Radke as a person, has very little redeeming qualities to it. Just a complete mess of an album here, a huge waste of time, and a majority of these tracks have already been released, so I probably could have reviewed this album weeks ago, but I wanted to give it a chance. People are going to say that I just, jump on the hate bandwagon for Falling in Reverse, don't give their music a chance. That's not true. I wanted to give this album a chance by listening to all these songs in the context of the record. Maybe they would grow on me in that context, and I thought, let me listen to it here from an unbiased perspective, the album in its entirety, just like I've done for every Falling in Reverse album previously, and still, it just doesn't work. None of the experimentation works. Ronnie's lyrics may have hit an all-time low here. Just really a graveyard of metalcore's worst ideas from the brilliant mind of the 40-year-old edgelord Ronnie Radke here. Just pushing the boundaries of how many different ways he can give me a headache in less than 40 minutes, and I know this is going to make a lot of Falling in Reverse fans angry. You know, I'm self-aware. I know that this album is going to get praise from their fan base, and anybody who dares to say otherwise is going to be vilified for it. That's okay. My review of All My Life was one of those disliked videos on the channel, probably from all of Ronnie's angry fans who, again, somebody dared to say something bad about their band, but anyway, I never bought into that herd mentality of hating a band. I never, bought into that. So, for me personally, I'll always tell you, good music is good music, and bad music is bad music. And everyone's going to have an opinion, a differing of opinions here, but I will always give you guys my opinion, and if it's good, it's good. And I would tell you if Falling in Reverse made a good album. To say something complimentary about them, I think their debut is great. Everything after that has just gone completely downhill. So, again, if it was good, I would tell you. If it's bad, I'd also tell you. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a bad album. If you did not hear it, and you don't have any interest in hearing it, don't worry, I listened to it for you. But if you want a good laugh followed by a good cry out of frustration, go ahead and give it a listen. It's 37 minutes of your life you will never get back. But, when it comes down to it, if you like it, more power to you, of course. If you enjoy this album, I'm glad. But for me, I'm perfectly fine never hearing it again or hearing Ronnie Radke again. So from here on out, the only metal musician on this channel named Ronnie that we acknowledge is Ronnie James Dio. So that wraps up this review here of the new studio album by Falling in Reverse, Popular Monster. In my opinion, the worst metal album of 2024. It is upon us, and there's nothing quite like an early morning rant to get you going on a Friday. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like Falling in Reverse and you hate me now, you can give it a thumbs down. And please be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss a new upload, and let me know down in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on Falling in Reverse's new studio album, Popular Monster, and do you think it's the worst studio album in metal of 2024? I definitely want to hear from you and your opinions. Just let me know all that good stuff down below. And until next time, it's the CD guy, Johnny Z, signing off. Take care, everybody.